and welcome to Fully Charged Breaking News. Now, this is not going to happen very often, but I've just heard some actual news. Now, every electric car driver in the UK will have heard of Chargemaster. Now, they actually build their chargers in the UK. They only use renewable electricity to power those chargers, and they're one of the rapidly growing leaders in the field. They also operate the UK's first EV experience centre in Milton Keynes that we've visited a few times on the show. Now, their charging network is used by over 40,000 customers a year. They have installed and are operating over 6,500 charging outlets across the UK. And all those numbers are about to increase big time. BP, British Petroleum, have just bought Chargemaster. The news has just been released this morning, and from now on, Chargemaster will be known as BP Chargemaster. Part of this expansion will include two very important things. Now, one is obviously the installation of rapid chargers at BP's 1,200 service stations around the country. But they're also installing the latest 150 kilowatt ultra rapid chargers at most of those locations. Currently, the most common rapid chargers are supplying 50 kilowatts, and that's the ones we see at all the motorway service stations. But 150 kilowatts is obviously a lot more. According to my maths, it's 3 times more. These chargers are capable of adding 100 miles range in 10 minutes for cars that are built to take 150 kilowatts. That's an important sub-clause. So there you go. I wasn't entirely surprised by the news. Another very large charging network in mainland Europe, New Motion, was bought by Shell last year. Well, New Motion isn't as well known in the UK, but it's huge across Europe. And since they've been bought by Shell, they've expanded enormously, and they're now starting to install chargers all across the UK as well, and we're doing a show about that very soon. So I think this is a fascinating turn of events, and regardless of your opinions about what are basically the largest and most influential multinational companies on the face of the planet, the oil and gas industry, I think this is really telling. BP and Shell have sensed which way the wind is blowing. They are repositioning themselves as energy companies. They want to be in the business of selling energy, regardless of what sort of energy it is. BP and Shell are already some of the biggest investors in renewable energy around the world, and now they want to be the biggest car charging network. So on the good side, what this means is there's going to be loads more rapid and ultra rapid chargers available for EV drivers to use in the UK. Equally importantly, I'm hoping, and all the signs are looking good, that it will also include really simplifying the way we pay for electricity when we use it when we're on the road. Touch to pay. Those sort of systems are going to be introduced by big companies like Shell and BP. It's just a fact of life. It makes installing the chargers more expensive. The real crux of the matter is how much will they charge per kilowatt hour? That's what's going to really make or break this whole system. If it's too expensive, most electric car drivers aren't going to use them, or we're going to use them very, very rarely. So it's really up to these large companies now as to how they position themselves in that market. What we can hope for as electric car drivers is that they'll be in competition with each other and they'll keep lowering the price. It doesn't always happen in capitalism, but you never know. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes things get cheaper, and it will be interesting to see how much they charge. But I'm going to make a prediction. I think that historians in the future will look back at 2018 and see it as the very start of the tipping point, when large, multinational, globally incredibly dominant and powerful companies start to invest in completely different technology that is completely at odds with their core business, selling oil and gas. They're going to that's going to be a start of some bigger tipping point. And I think all the oil and gas companies, and certainly all the car companies, and without question all the governments, know this is coming. And it's really a question of when do you jump on the bandwagon. Anyway, that's it. There's some wonderful episodes of Fully Charged coming up. We're doing some really exciting stuff very, very soon. We're halfway through editing all the Fully Charged live talks. They're really good. I don't remember them when they were taking place because it was all a bit too much for me. But the talks are amazing, really good. So they'll be coming out very, very soon. Big playlists, 18 talks in all. But anyway, that's it. Please do subscribe to Fully Charged if you haven't already. Please have a look at the Patreon link when you've got a moment. No pressure. Click the little bell thing. And as always, if you have been, thank you for watching.